were moved here on a 99-year lease. We were never told to look after our homes, bring up our families. These are our areas, and then one day you'll be gift out. When I spoke to tenants yesterday, I have an old guy that's a couple of doors down from me, and he said, Sarina, I put $50,000 into my home because I was told it was my home for life. No repairs were done. I did them myself. To send somebody shoddy along to glue something on the top of his roof, no, he did it himself. I didn't have recourse to that kind of money, and I have had outstanding issues for more than 10 years of repairs that need to be done. Housing is hoping that the houses will be so run down that they need to be demolished. How dare you? We are people. Don't talk to us about what you're planning, what you're rezoning, showing us all your pretty pictures when it affects everybody's life. I've had people crying and packing their stuff and saying, Sarina, where are we going? I said, we're not going anywhere. We're going to fight it. We stand with the support and in solidarity with all the people that are supporting us. This is not just us in Explorer Street, it's everybody. We should be a community, a government that looks after people that needs housing, not be seen as followers of systems that don't work anywhere else in the world. Come on, yeah. We've got to do that. What you've done, you're impacting the community. We talk about growing together. I've had people who have lost their homes in the Pacific because of global warming. They have nowhere else to go to. They were moved to Australia because their homes are underwater. A lady who was just talking to me, Sarina, I've got nowhere to go. You're going to take my home? She just cries every night. I feel so incompetent. I feel so unhappy. And I'm really, really distressed that yet again, when promises were made by Labor that you weren't going to change anything, you've done everything that Liberals done. What happened? Yeah. Do we not believe anything you tell us? You're here for the people? What people are you talking about yourselves? Not the people who are actually in the area, who've lived here, who've brought children up. When I'm proud to be a house aide, I was told through whatever circumstances when I moved, I could raise my family. I did well raising my family. I worked and gave back to the community. Education's important. My children, my grandchildren are in the area. All I can say to you is we all stand together in solidarity. Be against any government that wants to get rid of our homes and our future. This is not the way forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarina. I think we sometimes forget that when we're talking about this planning, that people's lives are impacted by this. And one of the studies that's interesting in the package of stuff that's on the exhibition is actually a social impact assessment that seeks to look at some of those impacts. It's the first time that it's actually been done in this area, at least for a site that actually has people living on it. And I encourage people to actually go and have a look at that and to see whether or not there are any issues that haven't been raised. Because I know there are some people that want to stop this, but if it doesn't get stopped, then it will go ahead under the stuff that's actually being put on exhibition at the present moment. So we also need to look very closely at what's there, because that is likely to be what goes through if it doesn't stop. So I'd just like to quickly ask Andrew if he'd like to say anything, and then we're going to move on to questions.
I know most people here will raise specific issues around local impacts of this proposal, so I want to make some more general comments that call into question the overall rationale of this proposal. One of the most despised aspects of the former state government's time in office was its obsession with privatisation. It privatised our electricity, our roads, our buses, our hospitals and our public housing, $3 billion worth. So it was quite a relief that the new Labor government promised an end to that, particularly in the sphere of public housing. Here are some of the promises. Chris Mears, no privatisation. Ron Honig sending text to everybody. Only Labor will stop the sell-off and privatisation of public housing. Vote 1, Ron Honig. Philip Scott with Rose Jackson, no privatisation. Councillor Linda Scott and Rose Jackson, even after the election, saying there will be no, we're freezing the sale of public and social housing. This came off the back of a binding motion at the ALP 2022 State Conference to legislate a moratorium on the privatisation, sale and outsourcing of any public housing, assets or services. The motion also binds the party to legislate to ensure that public housing in the inner city increase at a rate exceeding local private housing developments. And there's the motion, you can see it on the REDWatch website. Sadly though, we've seen no such legislation introduced and a continuation of the privatisation of public housing at Waterloo, Glebe and Explorer Street. I wanted to confirm the ownership of Explorer Street, so I emailed DPE and I got a response from Cameron Brooks on the 26th of October. He wrote, the 46 existing tent dwellings at Explorer Street are owned by New South Wales Land Housing Corporation and the tenancies are managed by the Department of Communities and Justice. He went on to say, the market homes, which will be 50% of the total, will be sold off by LAC. That's his word, sold off by LAC, via the delivery partner under a stratum arrangement. Delivery partner, I suppose, is weasel words for developer. This is a clear break of election promise and a breach of Labor's own rules. Now, some people have said to me, but isn't 120 social homes better than 46 social homes? We don't judge a course of action by whether a simple good increases or not. We judge it by whether it is the best use of the resources applied. If I have 3 cheeseburgers and I do something and end up with 6 cheeseburgers, I need to ask, what did I lose in order to get that? Well, in the case of Explorer Street, we are set to lose 50% of the public housing land on which this development sits. If you think of the upzoning as a separate matter from the privatisation, then there's going to be 400 homes there anyway. And in order to go from 46 public houses to 120 public houses, we have to sell a floor space of 200 houses in order to get that. So we lose 200 to gain 74. That's a bad deal. Even Rose Jackson admitted this on April 12th when she described the process as a snake eating itself. The current approach isn't working. Rather than demolish 46 homes that are only 31 years old, the urgent priority should be to build new public housing on brownfields land. That is all ready to go in North Eveleigh and 600 Elizabeth Street, Redfern. Nobody needs to be evicted from anything. Don Perrottet wanted to parcel up North Eveleigh and build mostly offices ready for sale to Mirvac or similar, who already bought up most of South Eveleigh, which is now a private suburb. Instead, we need a similar approach to the 1970s, when the Whitlam government bought 200 homes in Woolloomooloo and 600 homes in Glebe and converted them to public housing. Today's version of that would be to buy industrial land in this area and build public housing on it. There's also a stack of that sort of land from here to Green Square and even some pockets in Erskineville, such as the Newtown tram sheds. I live on Colson Street. There's Brightwell Transport running trucks in and out there. I would love to have public housing on my street. There's still an undeveloped section of Ashmore Estate on Mitchell Road also. Let's put this proposal in the bin where it belongs. Tell your neighbours about it. Sure, make strong submissions, but don't be sucked into a bureaucratic process. Remember, demolition is a political decision. Write to the Housing Minister and the Premier, CC your submission to them and make them rethink this proposal. And join with your community action groups like ARAG and REDWatch and Friends of Erskineville and make our voice be heard. Thank you.